Hey everyone, welcome back to Trusted Pipeline Advisor, the podcast where we break down the latest in pipeline safety, engineering, and all the behind the scenes work that keeps things running smoothly. With me today is a pipeline integrity expert with tons of field experience. Great to have you on.
Yeah, always happy to be here. I love diving into this kind of stuff, so let's get into it.
All right, so today we're talking about a pipeline that's been out of commission for a few years and is now getting prepped for reactivation. And I know that might not sound super exciting at first, but trust me, there's a lot that goes into making sure it's safe and ready to go.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's not just like flipping a switch and calling it a day. There's a whole process to make sure the pipeline's in good shape and won't run into issues once it's back in operation.
Right. And from what I understand, this particular pipeline was built a few years ago, but never actually went into service, right?
Yeah, exactly. It was licensed and constructed, but for whatever reason, maybe, I don't know, changes in production plans or market conditions, it was never put into active use. So it was properly discontinued, meaning it was taken offline in a controlled way that followed all the regulatory rules. Now, after a detailed integrity assessment, they're looking at bringing it back into service.
Got it. But before they can do that, they had to take like a really deep dive into the pipeline's condition, yeah?
Oh, absolutely. They went through everything, internal and external corrosion risks, how well the cathodic protection system held up, any historical failure data, and what kind of mitigation strategies they'd need to put in place. And the good news is the pipeline's been classified as moderate risk, which means it's in pretty decent shape and can be safely reactivated with the right precautions.
That's great. So let's break this down a bit. What did they find when they looked at corrosion?
The expected corrosion rate is around 0.33 millimeters per year, which isn't bad at all, especially with proper maintenance. Plus, there's no history of internal corrosion failures in the region, so that's definitely a good sign.
Yeah, that's reassuring. And externally?
Well, the external corrosion risk is also classified as moderate, but the good news is the cathodic protection system held up really well while it was offline, and inspections at key points, like where the pipe meets the soil, didn't show any major coating defects. So basically, it looks like it was well taken care of, which makes the reactivation process a lot smoother.
Sounds like they've got a pretty solid foundation to work with. But they're not just going to throw it back into service without taking extra precautions, right?
Oh, no way. There's a plan in place to make sure things stay in check. First up, they'll run pigs through the pipeline every 60 days to clear out any water and debris. Then they'll inject glycol to help control pH levels and reduce the risk of corrosion. And if the pipeline ever needs to be shut down again for a while, they'll use a special corrosion inhibitor to protect the internal surfaces.
Makes sense. And on the external side, they're keeping an eye on the cathodic protection system, yeah?
Yep, exactly. They'll keep monitoring it regularly to make sure it's doing its job. And if anything looks off, they'll do targeted inspections in high-risk areas to catch potential issues early.
Okay, so it sounds like they've covered their bases. What's next? When can this thing actually go live?
Well, based on the assessment, the pipeline's good to go under routine regulatory guidelines. Once they've got all their mitigation measures in place and their monitoring plan set up, it should be ready for action.
Love it. This is a great example of how proper engineering assessments make sure everything runs safely and smoothly. It's like easy to forget how much work goes into making sure pipelines are up to the task before they even start moving product.
Oh, yeah, totally. A lot of people don't realize just how much behind-the-scenes effort goes into ensuring pipeline safety. This report really shows that with the right planning, even a pipeline that's been sitting idle for years can be brought back online safely.
Couldn't agree more. All right, that's going to do it for today's episode of Trusted Pipeline Advisor. Thanks for hanging out with us. And if you're into pipeline safety and engineering, make sure to hit that subscribe button. We've got plenty more coming your way.
Yeah, thanks for tuning in, everyone. See you next time.